Hello everybody and welcome back to DIY Chop. You know, in our last session we actually finished the motor up and we did a little bit of painting work on the interior and I described, you know, the chassis. We did the front suspension and the muffler and the exhaust system. And now we're ready to put the rear axle in it and the shocks. We got our wheels already put together and we're going to put this thing on a rolling chassis. So, and the first thing you want to look at is, you know, how the axle goes in. I actually took cut them off the tree, trimmed them up, and got them all nice for you. You know, so that way we can just jump right into things. I also went ahead, I did the touch-ups with the black, with the flat black, and you know, got everything all nice and pretty. So now what we're wanting to do is just stick a nice, you know, just stick a drop right here, drop right there, drop right there. And we got a glob going, so we're going to do our round whirl, which is one of the things I like to do. Without getting the paint all, oh man, now we got it, there we go. And then we're going to put a little drop right here, you know. Just enough to where the pin actually pushes it, golly, that's enough. And then you got to stick the axle actually, and this is one of the things that, you know, it's an ingenuity thing. You got to stick it in through here, and then you got to swing it back until you line your pins up, because it actually does. And I'll show you here in a second. Just push it down, pop it right in the pins here. This thing will go together, but sometimes you got to kind of bend the spring a little bit to make it the whole line up. Need us a sec. There it goes. There's that one. And you want to bend it just a little bit. You don't want to bend it too much, because if you bend it too much, you will break the pin trying to put it in. So, and again, this may require a little touch-up work, but boy, this thing is just giving me all kinds of fits. And don't force it in there. There it goes. And then just make sure that your front side is actually in there. Now I got a little bit of glue squishing right here. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of take the razor blade, kind of squish it out. Always have a handy dandy rag. There we go. The rest of it we'll get off later on. Okay, now just explaining to you, and I just broke it, but we'll fix it. Where the knuckle is right here, where it hooks up the back of the transmission, that basically doesn't slide through very well. Now the converter, okay, that converter, I had it glued in, but it's dislodged itself, but that's okay. We'll actually attach, when we attach the exhaust, it'll be fine. So, now we got that put in there. And we're ready for a rear axle. We can take the rear axle and actually slide the rear axle. It's just nothing but a steel rod. Slide the rear axle through. And this is going to be a real easy assembly here. I prefer not to glue my tires on unless I absolutely have to. Okay, and that's one, that's on normal. Secondly, I'm going to be taking these off in the future and painting them gold. So I don't want to necessarily glue them on. So what you want to do is you want to stick one tire right there and get the back tire. It's the one with the hole in the middle, not the one with the pin. If you remember right, we had one with the pin in it. These are the front tires. So the ones with the hole in it, and you just stick it right here, just line them up, and then equally put pressure on it, and they will go in. There we go. And if you need to, you can take it and just put a little pressure on it with your knuckle and just kind of give it a little spin like that. Or you can do that, and that should be good. Now, I noticed on this model here, it's got a option to where you can actually lower the front end, but we're actually going to make this a level stock instead of a dragster, like a dragster model. If you wanted to make this into a dragster, you can actually use the holes. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's 2 holes that is on here, and there's one here, and then there's another one right above it. We want to use the bottom hole for stock, and then we will use the top hole for like a racing, drag, hot rod dragster. And in the future, we're going to do a Trans Am, possibly do a Trans Am dragster too. So what you want to do is you want to take the pin that's on here and stick it in that top hole, and just give it just a little bit of a push. Make sure it's secured. Okay, and there you go. Well, wait a minute, hold on. I think I might have made a mistake. Yes, I did. Stuck in the wrong hole. We're doing stock, not drag. I want to do a hot rod real bad. So there we go. We stick it in the bottom hole. We're gonna put it in the right hole. Now, when the model's finished finally, in final finishing, then you want to glue these together, because if not, you're defeating your purpose. You'll make it oblong, and the tire will sit crooked. There's all kinds of problematics on that. So, okay, and we got that done. So what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and just stick it right on the wheels. Make sure everything is square, which it looks really, really good. Okay, and then what we're going to do, which what I'd like to do, so we got all this done, but we're missing, we're missing one thing actually. We didn't do the socks. So now the socks are going to be a little bit tricky to do. Now, it doesn't give much room on the bottom of there. Okay, but I have found that hemostats are the best thing to use for this, and it's basically kind of tricky, but you can do it. Okay, now right here there's a pin which is located right here on the axle. I don't know if you can see it. See if I can highlight it. See if I can highlight it with. You see it there on the razor blade, on the ejector blade. You want to put the hole. There's a hole on the sock. Okay, like this. Which we're going to have to bore it out because it's full of paint. That's okay though. And we will see right there, there's a hole. That goes in that little pin. And then the stud, which is this right here. Okay, there we go. That goes in the frame. So what we do first is this. Okay, the first thing you do is you take your hemostats. I'm going to grab the top where the hole is, where the flat side is, and just very gently lock your hemostats. I like hemostats because the parts don't fly. Once you snap them in, normally they don't go anywhere. Stick a little bit, I mean just a tiny bit on there. Okay? And then stick a tiny, tiny bit of glue right on that pin. Right there like that. Just a tiny bead. Always keep your glue shut, because if not, you'll get furries, like I say. And then you want to navigate it right down into that pin, like that. Now y'all just saw what just happened. Okay, bent the pin. Now you want to go on the back side. Like this, pour it out just a little bit. Pour both of them out, just like that. This makes it a little easier. Okay, just like that. Just like that. Okay. And we're going to do this again. Okay, put a little dab, just a dab. You don't want much. Okay. And make sure your part is straight, because it's a lot easier. And then what you do is you just stick it right in there, set it, disconnect your hemostats, pull your hemostats out, and then you want to take your razor blade and you want to put it on the pin. And this is a little tricky, but it can be done. Okay, and it takes practice to do that. It's not easy to do it. Okay. Make sure. Okay, that's good. Take your hemostats, grab a hold of it on the flat side, put a little dab of glue on it, put a dab of glue on your axle, just a dab, and then you want to take it, slide it right in there, boom, and it's in the hole. You'll know when it's in the hole. It'll actually, you won't feel a wobble, so you will know that it's in the hole. And then you want to just very carefully with the very tip of the X-Acto, you want to collate, just manipulate it the best way you can. You may have to push it out just a little bit with your finger, just kind of give it just a little bit of a push, and then lock it right into your axle, just like that. That's how you do it. So, and we're going to let this sit for a moment, let it kind of set up a little bit, and don't go nowhere, because I'll be right back. Alright? Some more's coming. Hello, we're back, and we let our chassis dry real good, and seems like it's holding pretty good. Now, what I did was I kind of mocked up the engine a little bit, and I'm just going to take this engine out just real carefully here without breaking anything, I hope. Okay, and you know, we're pretty solid in there, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on, and we're going to remount the engine. Okay, except this time we're going to glue the engine in. And how I basically do it is I'll put a drop of glue on the transmission cross member right there. I'll put a drop of glue right there on the exhaust, a drop of glue on the other exhaust, and I'm going to put just a drop of glue on the motor mounts. Just a drop. Just enough to give it a little bit of grip. Now, a lot of people that I've spoken to about models, and they watch me do this, they ask, well, why don't you glue the drive shaft? Well, really, there's no sense of point in it, in gluing it, but on several occasions that I have glued them, it actually has made an issue where it actually melts the pin off of it, and I got to do a repair. And I just found myself an issue with the engine, which I'm going to have to do a repair on that off camera. Okay. This is going to be a pain. Time consuming, but that's okay. Yes. Yep, sometimes you get some issues. but it's all right though. Okay, so we got the motor in there. Looks like the exhaust is holding really good. It's starting to set up. This is really, really, really good. Next, what we're going to do is we're actually going to take the interior box, and we're going to stick the interior box on there. Oop, we forgot something. Well, no, we didn't forget. Okay, because I'll show you a small trick. Normally you glue the 2 pins right there. Me, on the other hand, I like to glue it back here. If you look real closely, there's a little slot right there where it goes into the rear fender. I'll just take just a little bit of bead of glue right there and right there. Now, there's a reason, and I am also going to show you too. If you look in the wheel well, you will notice there's a white spot right there. Okay, that is the reason why I like to paint the back side of this black, but I didn't do that because I wanted to show you and illustrate to you why. Okay, but you can actually touch that up simply by taking the wheel off. You know, remember I told you don't glue the wheels? That's why. You can get right into a paintbrush, touch it up, no problem. Real easy, quick fix. We'll do that up on the touch-ups. But we're going to go ahead and press on with the interior because I want to get the interior done for you. But yep, see now we got our little beads done, and we're going to go ahead and always go by the instruction book. Which parts? And I want to illustrate something to you real quick here on a decal. The instrument panel, which is basically for the dash, this right here, okay, is consistent of a panel that goes in the back, and what you're seeing there, which I don't know if it's very clear for you, it's actually the speedometer and speed instrument gauges. That is illustrated right here in this block right here. And I went ahead and mounted that in there so that way we can start our detailing work. And we're going to do a little bit of paint detail work on the instrument panel and get it ready to install in. We're currently 18 minutes. Not too bad. We're going to do a 35-minute video. It'll be a little bit short, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. 18 minutes, but we can get it done. We can definitely get it done. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and get our handy dandy brushes out. And one of the things I like to use, and I don't have one, but that's okay, is my 000, but that's okay. We're still good. We're still good. Yes, we are. We'll move that right there over there. We're gonna get just a little bit of black here, and go ahead and shake it up. Oh, shake the paint. Now, I actually was using this earlier, so you don't have to flip it upside down. Just give it a good shake. But if anytime your paint sits, flip them upside down and let them sit for a moment. Let them mellow out. A lot of times I actually put them upside down when I'm storing. There we go. And then what it's going to do is you're just going to get just a bead of paint. You want just a very tip in here. Okay? And you just want to touch. Just touch it. That's all you want to do. You touch it and it'll go where it'll actually bleed. This is basically how I do my detail work. I let the paint do a lot of the work for me. And See, you got the like that right there. Just let it. Now, one of the things I am going to be looking at for future sessions, and I'm in searching for it, is a micro with a micro light, and by doing so, you know, this is a little trick too you can also do, is barely touch the thinner and then barely touch your paint. It will actually practically turn to ink. Okay. And this here, collie. 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 Okay, this is going to be problematic because the paint is not cooperating with me. Now we got an issue. Okay. Collie. Collie. These are really nice. It's called applicators. They're an actual applicator. Mainly they're used for gluing, but I use them for paint corrections. If you act quick enough, you can actually correct without the bleed, and we are going to have to do a paint correction because I didn't act quick enough, but that's okay. Basically what you do is you just take it and you just put it right off, as much as you can off without taking any of your tan leather off. Okay, now you can also take that same applicator, dip it in your paint, and you can use it for detail too. And they work really nicely. You want this right down to, ink. Now you'll see it, how it flows. If you can see it, as soon as you touch it, it just expands. And this is like ink. Very, very, very thin. And it takes a lot of practice to do this. But I'd like to get it done. I'd like to do this on this model simply because once the model's put together, it becomes very problematic, and I just screwed that up. It's okay. What I will do is take that right off. Even the pros make mistakes. I definitely ain't no pro. Okay, kind of move the paint a little bit. Do another attempt. Alright. And we'll actually do a little segment on that here probably shortly. Do your petals, which I do those black as well. And again, this seems easy for me, and I'm not trying to. I'm gonna go ahead and just paint that black. That way it kind of offsets the dashboard a little bit. See what I mean? Change your mind. Okay. Okay. And just kind of quicky dippy. And we're going to try. Boom. Applicator's not working too well, and that's okay. And we'll go ahead and do a corrections video. That's all right. Now. Go ahead and get some fresh brush. And we're actually going to paint the inside of these sheets. Trying to give it kind of an offset, just a little bit on the. Be very quick because brown bleeds. So you want to just kind of very lightly. Hit it, and stroke it. Now this takes a steady hand, but then with practice, I believe you can do it with practice. You just be very versatile, very vigilant on where your paint's going. Boom. And again, I may make this look easy, but trust me, it took me a while to get the hang of it, and I had to repaint a lot of seats to get this down. You know, down later on, we may have to put another layer on here because of the bleed, but. For now, it's working very nicely. Always work with your, which I like to work all my painting. I am right-handed, so I like to go left, but it's basically whatever easier for you. That's the main goal. Some people are multi-dexterity. Me, I'm just OCC. It's over compulsive. Just now, you will have an issue with the light sometimes because the paint reflects and you won't see much of where you need to paint, so and you want to try to be very, very consistent with your stroke. very consistent with your strokes. If you can do it in one stroke, it's best to do it in one stroke. When you go over it, you excite the brown, and by exciting the brown, that's what creates the bleed. And you'll see, I'm hoping to show you a visual effect when this is done. So, we're at 35 minutes. I think we can do this other one. Probably. We can do the center of the center and the back side of this. Alright. Just kind of let it just kind of quick on it because we only got about 5 minutes left on our memory. Always paint the back side of everything if you can. Even though you're not going to see it, it still darkens it, and it brings a lot. You can get bleed. Sometimes the bleed will actually show right through. Okay, so we're going to Alright. This also makes an awesome effect because some of the Trans Ams, I know mine had a double upholstery. Mine was actually gray with black, so, and it kind of gave me the hot rod feel, you know, which was really, really cool. You can feel like a true hot rodder. It looked like racing seats. Really, really cool. And if you don't like it, you can change it. I mean, just take a little, take some regular Tesser's paint thinner and very, very gently go over it. You may have to put a primer coat on it, several primer coats on it, but you can't cover it up. A little bit of work. In doubt, if you doubt that it's going to look good, then just don't do it. So, and we'll just go right up, get across there. And this is extra, by the way. Okie dokie. It looks pretty effective for right now. We're going to let this dry. I might put a coat on it, just for off camera to kind of make it look good. Might touch a little bit up so that way we can speed the video up. But our next video is going to be actually assembling, and I'm also going to go in. I'm going to do some detailing on the inside of the interior square. So please, if you like it, hit that like, hit that share, subscribe, share with all your friends. But stay tuned, keep watching, because we got another video coming up. But most importantly, have fun. Thank you.